I talked about spiritual upgrades and ascension and leveling up and all of that in a previous video, but it was really dark, so I'm going to talk about it again. When that happens, you're going to be in pain. I know it seems backwards, but I think it's the balance. You know, you get this amazing gift, but you got to pay for it. Just like childbirth. I mean, you want a baby, got to come out the stomach or the lady parts. That is why my oldest, once I told her that when she was 4, no longer, she just wants to adopt. I mean, I adopted too, so that's part of it, but she was like, I'm not doing that. I freaked her out too bad. The point is, ADHD. The best things in life usually come at the cost of something, usually pain. Same with when I had my Kundalini awakening, which at the time I didn't even know what that was, my spiritual awakening, it was over 48 hours. Some people spread that out over their entire life when they do it. I did it in 2 days. It was so painful. I mean, I literally felt like I was being unalived, and in every way. I think what's about to happen here, tearing down the foundation of something that's not stable to start over and rebuild it so much better and more stable and so much better. So I think that's what's going to happen. But I also think that's part of the reason why it's so painful. But if you have an upgrade, or you have a download, or you have any kind of ascension or leveling up, it's probably painful. I talked about some of the symptoms. It feels like someone's, like an elephant sitting on your chest. You feel dizzy. You feel out of breath. You feel either super hungry or not hungry at all, or hungry for one very specific thing over and over and over. You can't sleep. You usually wake up, sometimes for days, you usually wake up at 3 or 4 if you're restless, or you're just so tired you can't even get up, but you don't really sleep well. I'm trying to think what else. You usually want like more vegetables and things like that over meat. That's a big one. Usually you get anxiety, like horrible anxiety. You don't really want to be around people. You isolate. Some physical pain. Headaches. Dizziness is a big one. Headaches, though. Migraines. I'm trying to think of the other ones that I used to have. My stomach would hurt so bad. Like, I would throw up. I would have diarrhea. My stomach would just hurt. Sometimes the pain would be so bad all over my body. Oh, my legs and, like, my muscles and my joints and everything would just hurt so bad. Sometimes I would roll around on the ground because it just hurt so bad and I didn't know what was going on. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Going through spiritual upgrades, going through a spiritual awakening, it makes you feel crazy. You're not. Just waking up. It's painful. I know. And a lot of times when people have spiritual awakenings, it comes with the return of past life memories or this life memories that you repressed. Your gifts come back too. It all comes back at once. Maybe you start hearing, different voices and things. I started speaking in a light language. I thought I was having a stroke. I didn't know what a light language was then. It took like an hour for me to come out of that. It was a whole thing. I should tell, if you ever want to hear that story about my 48-hour Kundalini awakening, that was crazy. So, I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments. Have you experienced physical pain? Just know sometimes it's very physically, it hurts. And you also have a lot of loss as far as people and things in your life that you feel like have been the center of your life your whole life, like, or at least the last few years. They just get ripped away all of a sudden. I mean, because we've talked about this before. A spirit will send a feather, a brick, or a bus. First is the feather of like, okay, you should not be doing this anymore. And then they throw a brick, which hurts, and then they'll just send a bus and they'll take it right out. Like, it's just, you don't want the bus. So spiritual awakenings, upgrades, leveling up, all that, they hurt. They're painful. They're not ascension that you think this like, oh, you're rising. It freaking hurts. It hurts. Even still, now I know sometimes I've started to kind of recognize the symptoms a bit, but sometimes I'm like, what is going on? Like, I gotta go to the hospital. But it usually passes. Again, not a doctor, so if you think there's any issues, go to the hospital. But no, sometimes if it's like, you'll start to recognize it the more you go through it. And it does get easier. It's a way to release a lot of stuff that you have trapped inside of you. That's why you become more emotional, because you are making room for it. A lot of us didn't have the chance to be emotional when we were younger or at any point. Now you're given that chance. It's not going backwards. It's getting rid of that stuff to make room for the more of the good stuff. So you can remember how far you've come. It's a lot of it too. So let me know what you think in the comments.